All right, now we're live. I am going to call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. We will stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to be here. Looks like we have a quorum for BZA. I got Tom, Diana, and Shannon here. So that's 3 for our BZA. And we have a quorum for our planning as well. We got Dave, Terry, myself, and Diana. So quorum for both. That's
exciting.
Right. Raise the roof. All right. So first order of business. Let's see. The last official meeting we had was December. Diana had sent out an email prior to our January meeting with those meeting minutes. So anybody have any comments, questions on those, or do we want to move to approve?
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes.
Okay. Got a first motion?
December's meeting.
I'll second.
Got a second motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Minutes are approved. Very good. All right, and we have Mary from Banning Engineering here joining us today. We've been working through 2 different main goals over the last several months. And we want to continue working on those. The first one is our wayfinding signage. And we got actual posters made up, canvas posters for the signs. They came in. If you haven't seen them, we have them in the office, and we can drag them back out again for those of you who haven't seen them. But the next step, if do you want to take it from here, Dave? Or
so the sub step for that is to order the hardware and all of that, which I think Jenny's already got the money. We appropriated the money for that, covered it for this year. So we'll go ahead and get those ordered. And then the next step is to plot out where we want those located. Anywhere from, the cul-de-sac? Or one street this way of the cul-de-sac. What is that?
That's Ohio.
From Ohio to the stop sign, then down to Flower Shop, Crawford. And then are we going to go back down to Amo Road too?
To 500 South, we can. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's we have 12 banners. So we'll want to stage those out and put them kind of equally spaced out. So we just need to get an idea of what poles to use.
How far down are we thinking of going on 500?
Not on 500, to 500 on 0. So that basically that block and a half from the bank down to where Rob's old tractor shop used to be. It's now a U-Haul, and D&D is using it.
So not being a Clayton forever, 500 is what I call Amo Road.
Right.
Okay.
Right, which technically on the map, Amo Road is what leads to the cul-de-sac. So that kind of leads to confusion when you say Amo Road there, and that's the actual Amo Road is that little weird angled street with the cul-de-sac. 500 South doesn't have any other name other than 500 South right now. Okay. We could change that if we wanted.
Amo Clayton. Both directions.
Right.
When I go to it was just, I went to Amo to get pizza.
Yes. So you took the road to Amo. So that makes sense. A lot of people do. I mean, they changed 267 in Plainfield got changed to Avon Avenue because it goes to Goes to Brownsburg. Oh man, he's gonna make some enemies in Avon. So, yeah. So those are, we just have to pick out where we want to put the signs. We're going to put these on utility poles that are already existing. So we're not going to put new poles out there. And these are Duke Energy owned poles that they will let us put those on. And then, but we don't have to put them on the ones that already have brackets. We can, like, we're going to order new brackets so we can put them on. Like the one that's going to be the wayfinding sign for Lambert Park probably should be on the one right on the corner here of Michigan and Iowa. Would be my thought process anyway.
Okay. I can go through, or whoever wants to go through and target poles and then show a map next meeting.
Okay.
And then the third phase of this is to then do the sponsorship component of it. Actually, there's another little phase there where we want to, where we place the banners at key locations, strategic locations. For instance, right out here on the corner, we want a wayfinding sign that says public parking, pointing over here, park down Kentucky, and then locations like that where we have those little wayfinding banners underneath them. And then for the sponsorship thing, did we establish a price last year at
$100.
$100? Okay, for sponsorship. And then does that include?
I don't remember, was that a month or was that for the?
No, just a one time. The business pays us $100, and they get to hang up basically their name on the bottom of
So one-time fee.
all of the So there's going to be
So is that $100 plus the cost of the banner, or $100?
no. We had decided it was going to be $100 because that way, whatever the banner cost, it would offset at about 50%. So the town would still incur 50%, and then the business owner would incur 50%.
Okay, $100 sponsorship. Okay, and we'll want to get that going after we get the polls figured out. Correct. And then, because they'll want some businesses or residents, whatever, may want to pick a poll that they want their sponsorship on.
Yeah. And then we'll just have to come up with an application form or some sort of
Form on the website.
Yeah. And then they can just fill out, here, I want to be a sponsor. So they fill out the application. It comes to this team, and we look at, those kinds of things and approve their sponsorship. So when we look at the goals on the strategy page for the comprehensive plan, so for the wayfinding, we've got first action step, engage local businesses, community organizations, residents to gather input on wayfinding needs and preferences. We've done that. Develop consistent and visually appealing wayfinding design guidelines that reflect the town's branding and are easy to understand. We've done that. Determine the locations of wayfinding signage. That's what you're working on now. Collaborate with professional designers and sign manufacturers to create high quality, durable signage. We already did that part, and we have them in the office if you want to see them. Obtain any necessary permits to install wayfinding signage, which, because we're choosing to put them on Duke Energy utility poles, we don't have to worry about permits. If we had gone the route of putting up our own sign pole, the state would have required us to get permits from them. We decided to bypass that red tape. Explore partnerships with local businesses to secure funding for signage plan. So we're working on that part. Seek grant opportunities or sponsorships support the signage development, installation, and maintenance. So I think the other part that we might add to that is just making sure that we have long-term goals on replacements. So when the sign gets worn or damaged or any of those kinds of things, what's our replacement plan for each sign that we have up there? And is 12 the maximum number we want, or will we eventually expand this to be more signs in the future?
The signs that we're doing for just the downtown business district, and then we were gonna have another sign plan for farther out.
Oh, okay,
Welcome to
gotcha.
Clayton, kind of,
Sure.
generic kind of welcome to Clayton. Cause these all, is everybody seeing the banner? Pete, would you go get a banner? These signify it's a historic downtown business district.
Yes, and I think they came out really nice. I think that the company, this was downtown signs, or what was the name of this company?
You want me to turn around and
Yes.
stand in front
Yeah,
of you?
come on, Vanna, model it for us, Pete. Work it.
Am I going in the right direction?
Yeah.
And then you'll have the other thing hanging from the
Hanging thing down there,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the sponsorship hangs below that. Those will kind of flap a little bit with the wind, and that way, it won't put the wear and tear on the band.
And that, and the hangers is spring loaded.
All right, so just to kind of put a timeline on this, do you think that we could potentially have all the goals, the steps that we've talked about, finished by June's meeting?
June 1st.
June
Have it done
1st.
by June 1st.
Let's make it the June meeting. So instead of June 1st, the first Thursday of June. That way we have, when we're here, we can stay, here's our completed project.
Are you
Or
saying have
strategy
everything
number 4.
hung and everything
Yeah,
June 1st?
yeah.
Okay.
Let's have it completely
Okay.
finished and up and
Up and
running.
sponsorship and
Yeah. We can even go out and do a PR photo shoot underneath the finished banner that's hanging up.
Pete was looking into power for
For the
Christmas lights.
decorations.
Do you know what poles those are going to be on? Because we may want to.
Well, we haven't really decided that either.
I think it would be nice to have a few of these lit up at night with the lighting mechanism for
Yeah.
the Christmas lights, Christmas decorations. So, but yeah, June
You
1st.
can put them both on the same pole, you just have to go higher. One of the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. All right. Any other questions, thoughts on the wayfinding signage plan?
Nope.
And what we're working
If
on.
anyone has any ideas about it, just email me. And I'll get back to you.
All right, and then our other big strategy that we've been focused on is we started out with implementing zoning adjustments that encourage mixed-use development, and one of the action steps is that conduct a comprehensive review of existing zoning regulations and land use policies. We started digging into that, and we said, "Whoa, this doesn't fit Clayton. This UDO that we have, that we've been using, isn't really ours." And so we found a lot of problems in it, and so we've this year now we budgeted money to hire Mary to help fix some of the major problems that we have in this. Some of the problems we've already started fixing, We've talked about some of the things like we had in there that it was a requirement for all new buildings and stuff to hook up to city water. And we don't have city water, so we've taken that kind of stuff out. We talked about trailers and RVs and where they're parked in storage, and we talked about some of the vague language that we had in there that wasn't really understandable or fitting with what we needed. So, but Mary's going to help us with kind of making sure our UDO marries up with our comprehensive plan, since this is kind of the foundational document that your UDO should get built on, because this has got our goals, our plans for the next 10, 15 years that the town has agreed to, and then our UDO should complement that and work off that. So I don't know if you wanted to say a few words now, Mary, about what we're going to do. Oh, she brought homework for us. All right.
Pass out, yes. Do that. Packet for you. You're just a listener. Are you?
No, give her one anyway, because we're going to try and talk her into being on our...
No, cute. Do you mind sharing a little bit? No. Okay. Oh, sorry. I had to bring it up for that. Yeah, like Doug said, I'm Mary with Fanning Engineering and doing some on-call planning services for you guys this year. And what I kind of started out with, little background, I did the comprehensive review of the UDO and the comp plan last year. Doug and I talked through some of that. There were a lot of things that I thought could be improved, not only to better align it with the comp plan, but also just to make it more user-friendly, kind of streamline some things, cut some items out that may be repetitive. So typically what I like to do initially is go through the UDO and sort of reorganize it a little bit. And again, like think about how I can streamline it. So what I have in front of you, this is what I've accomplished so far in terms of looking at specifically the residential districts. I have not changed any of the restrictions. So for example, like the front yard setbacks, if it's 15 feet, it's still 15 feet in there. We haven't changed any of that. I just tried to reorganize it so that it flows better, again, reads better, is a little bit more streamlined. And Doug and I had even talked about including a site plan for each district. So I have a little placeholder in there for that as well. But looking at that packet, there's a lot of information. So I'm sorry if it comes off a little confusing. Let me kind of explain it to you. The front page there, I got through 7 of the districts. So the front page on there is the current UDO. So that's what I was working from. And then I've kind of done some markups on there. The red highlight is just what has been copied and put into the new format. Any sort of strike through is something that's been excluded or changed in some capacity, edited. And there's an explanation of those edits on this longer legal page, just for transparency there. And then what you see on the back side is the new format. And then with that, instead of having the schedule of uses as a separate chapter, I added those specific permitted uses and special exception uses within each district as well. Again, just to make it easy so you're not cross-referencing back and forth, getting everything kind of in one place. And with that as well, Chapter 6 of the UDO, it repeats a lot of the information that was already in Chapter 2. Mm-hmm. So again, moved that, put that in one spot so that we can take that section out as well eventually. And like I said, none of this is obviously approved. It hasn't gone through that formal process yet, but this is just a start with that. Yeah, so any specific questions initially? I have some follow-up stuff that I might need you all to do a little bit of research on, but otherwise... Your initial thoughts?
Well, just to kind of clarify, when she says the formal approval process, so the first step would be that we, as the planning commission, this team, would hold a public hearing, and then we would vote to approve the potential changes. But then we would have to take the whole thing to the town council, and they would be the final authority, but they would also have to have a public hearing, and then they would vote on whether or not they approve it. So those are the steps that would be involved with that.
Yeah, and my suggestion we would do all of those amendments first. I'll come here, continue to talk through them, and then we'll do that final approval and vote up to the town council after that's all completed. Couple of discrepancies I saw throughout. For the agriculture, is that what we call it? The ag district. In chapter 6, it notes that 5 acres is the minimum lot size, but then in chapter 2, it notes 20 acres. So I don't know if anyone has the accurate number, or if there's an older ordinance that maybe I could get a hold of.
No, I noticed the same discrepancy, and it's been in there
Okay.
as long as we've had it. So
Okay.
the other thing, we had talked last year a little bit about agriculture and the idea of the concentrated feed
Yes.
organization,
Mm-hmm.
and that we didn't necessarily come to a final conclusion, but we kind of thought in town we would rather restrict the idea of being able, I didn't want a hog farm being built,
Sure, right next to the residential
the library,
area or
right?
the library. Yeah.
So those were just some things to kind of consider
Mm-hmm.
about that part, but 5 acres is probably a more appropriate number with what we see around here. There's lots of locally owned farms that are 5 acres, and they do just fine. So
Well, and through this process, if it's easier, I know the first meeting I kind of just brought a bunch of stuff and dropped it on your table, so I can be more prepped with that, and I can circulate that prior to, if you want to be able to review it, and then when we come together, we can have more of a discussion around it. I'm happy to do whatever is best for you all and whatever works best with how you guys typically run your meetings, so.
Weren't we going to consolidate some of those zones?
yeah, we had talked about, because really we had looking at comparing R1 and R4, I believe. They were super similar, and I think that when I looked through our current land use within Clayton, we didn't have anybody that was an R1.
No, I think you're
So
correct.
we just thought, what if we just combined R1 and R4 together into one, since they were so super similar, and just adjust the language to fit both ideas. So it could be a zoning district that would allow single family residence and a multifamily residence in that same area.
Do you want me to start making those edits, or would you like to see the format completely done first? What's your preference? Or do you have one?
at the same
Yeah.
moment. That way you don't create a
Yep.
series of documents and then go, oh, okay, well, we're going to get rid of this whole section.
No, that works for me.
And while we're
Really get it cleaned
get some
up.
traction on it and get it underway. So however we can do it, I think that, like combining it, and then that way we're not reviewing everything and then combining it.
Sure.
So
Sure.
go ahead
Sure.
and combine what we can now, and then go on from there.
Okay. No, that's great. I can plan to do that next month. I'll be here again. Like I said, I'll plan to send something maybe a week in advance for everyone to be able to review, and then we can discuss more at the meeting.
Yeah, I agree with Dave. I think that, this is sat neglected for so long that, we want to try and,
Really make progress with it.
let's really tear it apart and put it together, something that fits us, especially with all the other activity that's happening around Clayton, and that, this is, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, we were trying to work on an annexation plan, but when we look at this kind of chaos, it's like people aren't necessarily going to go, oh yeah, I want to be annexed into that.
Sure.
So
sure.
let's, if we can get this fixed sooner rather than later, then that helps. But
Okay. Well, sure. I took some notes, and I'll make sure to kind of keep you all posted on next steps and see what we can get done in the next month. So that works for everyone to go with that.
now with the one part, and I know you have a copy of our
Yes.
comprehensive plan,
Yes.
right? So in our goal on this, the reason we came to this was that initial
Yeah.
mixed use
Yep.
development, and I don't remember seeing a whole lot
Nope.
in our current UDO that even mentioned mixed use.
No.
So we want to make sure to try to, again, with this
Incorporate that.
goal,
Mhm.
looking at those kinds of things and then saying, how do we fit all that in, as well as there's one other strategy that deals with zoning stuff, and that's strategy number 6.
Mhm.
So kind of, if you don't mind, peek at that
Yeah.
also while you're working through some of these, and we can also look at those. And everybody here has a copy of our comprehensive plan, correct? If you don't have a copy of this, let me know. We can get you a copy. We have extras. I even have one that I should be using because it's bigger
Full
print,
size.
so I don't have to put my glasses on. But anyway, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I will keep.
All right. Does anybody else have any other feedback or questions on this aspect? And these printouts that Mary brought us, this is such a small
Yeah.
portion of our UDO, but it's an important part because it's the actual description of the zone properties and what can be developed, and what can't. So
Definitely. And I try to keep good notes of what's changed because I know people want to be able to see what's the difference. So yeah.
yeah, and as we on our public hearing, that'll be important because people will want to be like, well, what
Right.
changed here, what changed there, and so we would have to be able to reference that.
Right.
If they come in and ask us about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. All right. Couple other points to talk about tonight. I know, we've moved to Thursday. Everybody knows. So, but just kind of keep that in mind if other people are asking. That this is new. This is a new night for us this year, but we don't want to hide from people. So if they're asking, just be willing to share that. Oh yeah, we moved to the first Thursday of every month from what we used to do. So, and I believe we need to fix the calendar on the website. Okay, all right, because it had us first Tuesday still, but okay, very good. Yeah, because I had looked at it like last week, and I said I'll need to remember to mention that to Dave at the meeting.
It was a couple days ago.
Okay, awesome. And the Board of Zoning Appeals, those of you who are on BZA, putting in a building permit and stuff. He's going to tear down this old house on Michigan and Pennsylvania, and then he's going to apply for zoning change and a variance. So that's going to be your responsibility as the BZA to.
The one across from the church?
Yes. Well, not the blue roof, not the old mortuary.
Okay,
The one on this side of Pennsylvania from it.
That's bordered on.
It's boarded up, isn't it?
yeah.
Yes. Currently it is boarded up.
Oh, really?
When we did, yeah.
Isn't the owner of that the one who built farther down?
Yes, over on Ohio.
Next to Ross Strobel,
Yeah.
Who?
Ronnie Strobel.
I just know the house.
Right.
The one
Yeah.
that's trimmed black.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that Mr. Hoffman, he owns that property as well. But he's the structure he wants to build doesn't fit in with the rules right now. So he's going to apply for a variance and a zoning change. Now the variance is the BZA's responsibility. So what Pete will do is he'll have a staff report that'll tell you all of the things that he wants, and then what's currently allowed, whether or not it's going to be health, safety, and those kinds of things, and is it going to cause damage, and then you will get to vote on whether or not that is going to be approved. So the BZA will vote on that. You can offer recommendations, so just another refresher of your responsibilities, and if you need more information about your responsibilities, we can certainly provide that. But
Now, that house is on an old lot. These dimensions here doesn't apply to that, right?
yes, they do.
They do.
Even though it's in an old lot, I don't think
There's a section about in the back, the very last section is Old Town
okay.
residential.
Okay, I see. All right.
Is that lot big enough to go for you, just like that one?
It's the very last short paper in the back.
And that's the reason that people apply for variances, because they bought a lot and then the lot doesn't necessarily fit. Now that some of that stuff is grandfathered in, but so if he were just renovating the house that's there, it would be considered a right, and it's called compliant non-conforming. Is that the wording that they use for that? So yeah, it's technically grandfathered. But he wants to tear that one down and start over. So now he has to start with a blank slate. We run into that here and there. I mean, there was a guy last year tore down a barn just south of 500 there, and then he wanted to put a new one up. But once he tore down the old barn, the new setback or the current setback kicked in, and he couldn't build the new barn right there. So he had to move it over like 5 feet. Is that what he had to do? So he just moved the new barn over 5 feet. That way he didn't have to apply for variance. But if he had built it exactly where the old barn was, he would have needed to go through that variance process. So it's kind of one of those weird parts of the grandfathering rule is grandfathering works as long as you don't start brand new. Once you tear down the old one, your grandfather clause doesn't work. And so then he's also going to ask for a zoning change. That's the planning commission group. Planning commission would vote on it and then take it to the town council. The town council is the only board that can officially change a zone of a property. So
What's he want it zoned to?
I he wants it zoned so that he can have a duplex, so multi-family dwelling instead of a single family. So just, which I think we usually use R3 for that. That's what we've done for all of Dwayne Lanes, right? We made him R3. Yeah.
Have we heard anything, from the owner of the house on Crawford? Has been boarded up?
Oh, the old Teresa White house, we have not. And I've been very frustrated. I've called the county because, I mean, he bought that, or whoever the new owner is, bought that property with the tax sale. And in Indiana law, you buy it at a tax sale, you can't do anything for 12 months because the previous deeded owner has that long to come back and say, oh, wait, I meant to pay that. And so they can actually buy it back for paying the taxes off. Well, they didn't. The September of 2025 was the 1 year from when the tax sale purchase was made. But Beacon still shows it under Teresa White as the owner, and the county will not give me the name of the person that bought it at tax sale. I've asked them, and they're like, you just have to wait. And I'm like, but that doesn't make any sense. It's an eyesore, and technically we boarded it up because it was a danger.
Sure.
I mean, people were going in there and smoking weed and doing whatever else they were doing, and so it was a safety issue. And basically, it's an unsafe property, but which we're kind of stuck, not knowing anything right now. But I wish that.
So basically, the county's saying you just have to wait.
That's what they're saying.
For 3 years, you just have to wait. I mean,
Well, and the house has been vacant for,
since I moved here.
yeah, I mean,
5 years.
and longer than that. But and so when the county finally said, okay, the taxes are, have gone so long without being paid, which by the rule they're supposed to wait for 3 tax installments that didn't get paid. They waited way longer than that, but when it got to that point, they put it up for auction or tax sale, and so they run that up at the county office, and it's, some people refer to it as the sheriff's tax sale, but yeah, they just auction these off, and the property goes for whatever the back taxes are. So they bought that property for a little over $2,800 because that's how much where the back taxes were. And then they have to wait a year before they can do anything. But now it's been well over a year and they still haven't done anything, and it's just kind of one of those. And I don't know if there's a legal step that we can take of having our town attorney approach the county and saying, we demand to know the owner so we can hold them responsible for fixing the property, or cleaning it up or making it safe or whatever we want to say. But we might have to go that route just because it's literally been.
Taxes were paid, wouldn't that be public record?
That's what I thought.
It is. When you go on there to the Beacon site and you can click on the tax information, it just simply says sold at tax sale, September of 2024. And it doesn't say who it was sold to. They still haven't changed. The deeded property owner still says Teresa White. But she's been deceased for many, many years. So, but the blue roofed house over here, which I don't know, we might have to address that as a unsafe property too, Pete. The door's been kicked in, and instead of them fixing the door, they put a refrigerator up against the door.
I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah.
Is that under the same status? Sheriff's?
No,
No, okay.
no, they had a renter for, the last year or two. Yeah, and so they were there for quite a while. And the guy works for the railroad. We had that big red and silver truck. But they moved out, and I don't know if the door got kicked in before or after they moved out. But when they moved out, somebody kicked in the door, and then they put a refrigerator at the door which refrigerators aren't safe to be out anyway because people get into them and suffocate. So it just might be something we need to flag that as an unsafe property with our unsafe rules.
Do we have any idea whose refrigerator it is? Belong to that house?
I would assume it came out of the kitchen.
Haul it off.
Well, yeah, Robbie could haul it off if the property owner's easy to get a hold of. She owns multiple properties here in town, so you just have to.
So that house is more likely going without heat in it right now?
I don't know.
Doors open, you hadn't checked on it.
Yep. I did notice that the fireplace in the living room, when you look through the window, it's identical to the one in my living room. And so whoever built my house must also built that one because it's exactly the same greenish tile, and the mantle is the same. Everything. It's a beautiful little fireplace. All right. I think that's all we have for tonight. Again, thank you everybody for being here and for your hours that you spend on planning stuff and planning and zoning. If you have any questions on anything, feel free to ask. Again, some of this can be a little overwhelming when you look at all of the rules, but I want you to know that I appreciate your involvement and dedication to being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll all have a sweatshirt like yours. That'd be awesome.
You want one?
What's it say?
Yeah, I had it. Just says Town of Clayton.
I'm kidding.
I had.
You definitely earned yours. I have.
Well, I didn't earn it. I bought it. I have a friend in Plainfield. She runs a little business of making T-shirts and stuff like that. And I sent her the little image that we have that I gave Diana for using for our meeting minutes. She puts that out of the header and stuff, and we use it on envelopes here in town and stuff. So I sent her that and asked her if she could put it on a white hoodie for me, and she did. So I thought it came out really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not shirt tails, is it?
No.
Nope.
No. What does she call it? I don't know. She actually has the machine sits in her living room. She just does it at home. It's like, makes her shirts right there. So, but all right. Well, the last thing I forgot, we have to select officers for the next year, so there's. No, you don't want to be an officer. You look very official. You could be a great officer.
He's trying to butter you up, Tom.
Come on, Tom.
Nope.
All right. Well, I open the floor for nominations for officers for the Planning Commission.
I make a motion we have Doug Bigelow be the president of the planning commission.
I second.
Okay. Got a first and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. You could also have just said, I move that we maintain the same officers for the next year.
Okay.
You could have said that as well. Because I'm going to nominate Dave Ernst for the vice chair.
I second.
Second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. And then I nominate Diana Anderson as our secretary.
I second.
Second, all in favor
Aye.
signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. All right. Motion carries. Now, technically, the BZA needs their own officers, although we've been traditionally I just run the both meetings, even though I'm not a member of the BZA, and I'm not technically allowed to be a member of the BZA because I'm an elected official for the town. So, but if we can maintain the same officers for BZA that we had last year as well.
Somebody seconded.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Alexa.
All right, no further business from anybody. Does anybody have any other comments, questions, thoughts? All right, thank you. I look forward to another good year of BZA stuff. Oh,
Well, about the BZA, the president we elected last time only showed up for one meeting, right?
Jim Hawk was the chair, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
He only made one meeting last year? Oh, I thought he made more than that.
I don't think so.
He's told me that he wants to be here, and he actually even said that he felt like Thursday was going to make it easier for him to be here. So I'm not too. He didn't reply to my. He didn't reply to my text when I texted him.
I will say, I saw him Tuesday.
Yeah.
He fell and hurt his, shoulder, neck. I mean, you could tell he's having big time issues.
Oh, okay. Slipped and fell on the ice.
I
Oh.
don't ask.
Oh.
He doesn't drink, so I can't see.
He told me that. He told me that because we were at Christmas in Clayton. We were joking around. I had a hot chocolate, and I was joking around about
He'll put something-
adding Kahlua in there and stuff. And he's like, "None for me, thanks."
Yeah,
But
no, he doesn't drink.
okay. All right. Well, we will just keep things the way they are for BZA for right now, unless somebody else wants. And we don't have to do officer elections only at the beginning of the year. If something comes up and we have vacancies and we need to fill them, then we can elect new officers, that kind of stuff. So, all right, we will check for consensus on adjournment if everybody's okay with that. Okay, I will adjourn at 6:48. Thank you, everyone.